Spoiler-free review, Mark. What do you think about this movie?
Great time. So it's just, I was expecting a fucking thriller, and like a fun thriller, and I got exactly that. It's just Jaws with a giant monster. If Jaws was a giant lizard, the movie and Japanese, that's what I got, and I'm completely satisfied with that.
Yeah, I agree with you. I thought this was just going to be some simple simple CGI. It'll look fine, and it's a story with a couple characters we're not going to care about. We'll get to the action, and we'll move on. But in fact, this was a great time. It's one of the staples not only of this year, it's a staple of this decade. It's probably one of the better films of all of the 21st century just because of what it does with its runtime. And it makes you care about all the characters, and it's a great ride. It's an awesome fucking ride.
I was surprised how much I cared about the human story.
Yeah.
I'm glad I did, because I made a movie more interesting.
Yes, indeed. Right, let's get to the overall thoughts. All right, that was our spoiler-free review. Let's get to the spoilers. Mark, let's talk about the standouts, the positives, the things that we love. I don't think there's any negatives either, so we're just going to talk about this movie openly. Yeah, I love not only the way that they present Godzilla.
You don't have like a fucking little standouts thing for this time?
No. Because I realized we're probably just going to be talking about the positives. We're not. There's nothing. It was fun. Was there anything you found was a flaw in this movie?
Fuck. I want to think of something, but I can't right now.
I just couldn't.
I'll get back to you on that one.
I couldn't, because it's paced very well. There's no real moments where you're like, man, I'm looking at the clock.
English.
Dude,
No English. That's a major flaw.
Why aren't they speaking American?
Yeah, why aren't they speaking
Japanese
English? What
movie?
the fuck are these? I can't read. What the fuck are these words? What the fuck are these symbols at the bottom of the screen?
I can't read.
I'm illiterate.
Oh my god.
What the fuck does that mean?
Dude,
I'm speaking gibberish.
I'll be honest with you. Like, we talked about, obviously, before we got to the review, like, the previews. I held my ear, like, I already had to take a piss right as the previews ended.
You know what's funny?
And then, like, for what?
We're like, so this is a Japanese movie with subtitles. What they should have done is, like, with everything, even all the previews, just make them all the Japanese versions of the movies and have subtitles at the bottom of them too.
Oh my god!
You get the fucking Wonka preview. It's Japanese with subtitles. You get the fucking Aquaman 2 preview.
Yeah.
Japanese with subtitles. Everything Japanese with subtitles.
I mean, that'd be an interesting attempt. I'd dig it. I'd dig it. Just don't give me a bunch of commercials in between it. But yeah, I feel you.
Even though
they should have Japanese commercials if they're gonna put commercials in. But no, but legit though, yeah, like I had to literally like take a mad piss like right after right when the previews ended. That was like 30 minute like preview stretch or 20-minute preview stretch, and then I had to.
You don't take your pre-piss, your pre.
I did, but I had inadvertently drunk something before, but
actually I did have to. I had to take my piss during the movie, so I had to. I knew I wasn't missing too much. I walked out during the when they were fucking strategizing for the fucking war or some shit.
That was like pretty much like the third act anyway.
Yeah, and I was like, I can take a piss during this. I'm not gonna miss much, and I didn't feel like I missed much.
I just loved all the performances so much that I was like, fuck it, I have to hold. God damn it! And so that was the long dude. I was literally like, what? Like I heard, like I was literally like. Though it was I was pouring out piss for a good like 30 seconds minutes straight, just like. Well, I was like, Jesus Christ, how much did I fucking hold here? I have not held that long in a long time.
I'm starting to get more comfortable about like taking piss during certain movies. It's just like because like at first I don't want to miss a single thing, but then I started doing a strategy where I will put my phone sideways up in a cup holder and just record what I miss and then take a piss. But then like sometimes after the movie's over. I don't really bother to look back at my phone to see what I missed because, like, I feel like I got the whole... Cause I did that for The Creator, I did that for a couple other movies, and it's like, I sometimes just forget to, like, rewatch the scenes I missed, but it's like, I feel like I don't miss much sometimes. So it's like, not to strategize, I'm just like, I can take a piss during this scene, and I can come, like, I'm okay with missing some of this. I think I can catch up with the context after I come back.
Yeah, we're gonna move on past the Piss Pass podcast. I know you guys definitely came here for that.
Welcome back to the Piss Blast podcast. See, we were going to have a Piss Blast podcast anyway.
Eventually,
Brian. It was a canon event.
Filtered water, like we talked about months ago. Filtered water.
Like you were talking about. You said
I was talking about. I will dub
Put
this.
That shit on me.
I did this.
I'll hold you up in court for that shit.
But no, I think again, like one thing about Godzilla movies, and whether or even just movies where the character is a CGI thing, or not even a CGI thing, but a monster, or like the main thing is this monster or a special being, whether we're talking about Transformers or Sonic or Godzilla, it's like, could we get the fucking humans out of here? That's usually the main thing. And somehow they made a movie where I gave a fuck to see the
keep the humans in, just have them be stepped on. That's it.
Right.
That's all I want them there for.
Yeah, but somehow they made a movie where not only did I still want the action. I still enjoyed every second of Godzilla action. But I was like, actually worried about the humans? And I actually wanted to see the story and learn more about them? What the fuck?
Alright, so that's the great thing about this movie, because like I said, this is the direct sequel to Oppenheimer. The, it is. You can't deny it. But like after the war, like they're rebuilding like a certain part of the city.
Yeah.
In Japan, I forgot which city got bombed.
Tokyo.
Tokyo?
Well, now Tokyo didn't get bombed in
it was one of the
real
cities.
life. But they're in Tokyo.
They're one of the cities that got bombed.
Yeah.
Or at least that was in the radiation of the bomb or some shit.
But I don't think it was an atom bomb because, right? It was just that they got blasted by a number of things, right? I don't think it was. It
was something from the war because like it's a city that's being rebuilt.
Yes.
Because they were rebuilding.
Yeah.
And that's the funny thing that that's the tragic thing about Godzilla coming through because he's destroying all the shit and they just rebuild it.
Yes. Yeah. I love, by the way, the fact that this movie has, because obviously it's always like somber, like, hey, I love the way that they treat the military and how the government treats its people, because there's a lot of flack that clearly they bring about in this movie, where it's like, hey, the way that the Japanese government treats its people, it's like, no, don't be proud to go out and serve your country. Like, be here so that we can build better. We can be better. We need you for the future. It can't just be that we're being slaughtered for this. We need, like, I love that message, and I love the fact that it's like,
yes,
we don't just stand for what the fuck the government standard is. It's like, we are going to fight for our own ideals here. And that's a great concept. Like, this whole ragtag team is not the Japanese government. It's outside of the Japanese government. This is just a ragtag crew that's trying to do the best they can with what they have to fight against the Godzilla. And I love that premise.
Because, and the main Japanese military helping US ain't doing shit.
Yeah, because everything in World War II is always like, it's always thought of in this like beautiful, like, oh yeah, you gotta be like, man, look at how amazing war is, basically. You know what I mean? It's always like, man, isn't this great? Doesn't this make you want to serve your country? It's never like, it's like, but instead this takes, and there are other movies, like there's Band of Brothers, a great series for the American side that does actually talk about it that way.
I mean, I know a lot of other older Godzilla movies take place during war. I don't know if they touch upon that either.
Yeah, but it's always like when you see like war and things, it's like, hey guys, come on in. You know what I mean? Like, you should be going, like, go now. And it's not like, hey, think about it before you do it. Like, maybe you shouldn't. Maybe the idea should be, let's kind of assess the situation instead of just blindly fighting for something that might end up killing everyone in the process. I love that idea. I really do. You know, again, like, the fact that this is under $15 million is nuts. It's nuts because this has some great set design. It feels like you're in the fucking... It feels like you were literally in a fucking blasted, destroyed city. And that everything in this... And there's a few areas where it's like pockets of CGI, yeah, but like the costume design and the setting design, fucking incredible.
Yeah, Godzilla is not the most realistic creature I've ever seen, CG creature I've ever seen, but like...
Yeah.
They did a good job at making the environment around him feel realistic enough.
Yeah, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, and I mean, besides like the character stories, like I also did care about the town. It's just because like usually when I'm seeing like from the past kaiju movies I've seen or any other like superhero movies too, whenever I see like fucking buildings getting destroyed, like yeah, that's gonna happen. Like yeah, destroy my buildings. Yeah, there we go. Like I love like seeing every superhero or like whatever action movie. Is like when like the fucking character gets thrown inside a fucking office building, and you get like a small little bit of an office setting in a minute, and they go right out of it. Yep. That happens like every fucking action movie. Yep. But I love it.
Yeah. I think Transformers 3 did a really cool job with that.
It even happens in video games too. It happens in Spider-Man 2.
Oh my god.
Like you're fighting the Sandman, and then like fucking Miles and Peter get thrown inside of an office building. and you have to fight inside of an office.
But what I love here is like, and I think what you're referencing. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead. You look at your.
Oh yeah, like yeah, like I love like I was talking about the city being destroyed. It's like you seen like a kid imagine like a 12-year-old kid like you're rooting for. He's like building an amazing Lego set, and it's like you go little Timmy. He's building that fucking Lego set, and then like the 2-year-old baby brother is just like walking through the Lego set, and he's just like smacking everything like no.
I mean, even Leo,
he worked so hard.
Even Leo had a good 30-second moment where it was Godzilla.
Oh yeah.
Never forget that. But yeah, like I love the fact.
Like you care about the because like they were just like they just came after like they just rebuilt shit after the fucking explosion.
But they also make you care because of course. And one of the key parts about this movie is the personal connect. The relatability and the personal connection. You have the main character. Koichi, and he's like partnered up with this woman Noriko, who just has a baby, and I love the idea of the journey. It's like, look, this baby was like abandoned, left behind, and like I love everything about like it sucks the situation, but I love everything about how they get things get better for them, and
they're a found family,
and I love how it works. But we get to a point where she's like, I'm gonna work over here, and she's like, look, they really did a good job developing. It's really good over there, so And then the main character even like hears where Godzilla's going, and you see, and he says it, and you're like in your head, oh fuck, that's where she is, and we get the shot of her on the fucking train. Oh man, it's like, oh no, oh fuck,
oh yeah,
oh, fuck, dude.
And then she makes it. She's gonna live, and she's like, no.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, I think the city destruction stuff, and fuck, the city destruction stuff is still like grade A for the amount of money that they spent on this, but like, and again, it makes you feel for it because of course here's the main character and he's clearly dealing with something, and he's dealt with something for the entire time, and he just finally is like ready to open himself up to this new thing, this idea of like, all right, maybe I should kind of work with her and we can become something stronger, and I can kind of stop closing myself up. Only for a couple seconds later, boom, here's Godzilla just fucking it all, and he's like, gotta fucking deal with it. Like, God, that sucks.
But yeah, so, and like, the thing about Godzilla, he's become more and more threatening the more he's on screen, because like, alright, he's this indestructible fucking monster that's just like whipping everything, stomping on everything with his fucking
tail,
with his fucking tail and shit.
Yeah.
And it's like, alright, this is bad, but like, alright, let him get his temper tantrum out. He's gonna walk back. It can't get any worse than this. He's going to step on a couple people, gonna step on a couple buildings, and he's just going to just like punch everything. They can rebuild. It's not gonna get any worse than this. Then he starts fucking glowing. I'm like, what the fuck? Doom 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 doom. Fire!
By the way,
fuck.
By the way, I don't think that if I'm remembering correctly, Godzilla vs. Kong doesn't have that design for Godzilla. I think it's a little uglier than this one, actually. I think this is a much better looking Godzilla.
This one's Japanese.
I think Godzilla vs. Kong, he's like a fat old lizard, but this one it's like he looks better than he looks like in his prime.
Yeah, I think the one they have for Legendary is a different model.
It is. It's a completely different model, and this is obviously a completely different Godzilla. But like, I love, like you brought up, the fucking charge shot, because you can see the process just like it's like puzzle piece. It's like the sound effects, everything about it, like it's so cool because it makes you not only want the model. I want a model where I can just push it in and like do that.
There's plenty of Godzilla fucking toys out there.
No, I know, but I want this Godzilla because
there probably is for all.
That's all I'm like, because it's like that's such a cool idea. I don't know if it's done before. I haven't seen it in like the
There's a bill. I think it.
I've seen.
Godzilla does have a beam. I played some of the video games.
I've seen the blue glow was in the Godzilla Legendary movies, but the charge shot where it's his fucking tail spikes is so cool. And man, like it sucks because I love that when he fires that shot, he's not aiming it up in the air like in the fucking like in the fucking movies. It's like other movies. He's aiming it straight into whatever air, like a Death Star kind of thing.
And it's like, not only did he just like fucking put the city in ruin, he put them under a fucking nuclear explosion again.
Yes. They just fixed it. Like you said, they just fixed it, and here we are back again.
Like, he just does all that shit like, hey guys, remember the nuclear explosion you just went through?
Yeah, this movie does a really good. This is a great, brilliantly constructed film because we follow this main character and we learn about what we already learned from the beginning what he's hiding from himself and what he's hiding from everyone else. What he's trying to sort of hide away from, almost like a Jonah type deal, where it's he abandoned his post. He's supposed to go and literally kill himself for the cause. That was his job.
Oh yeah.
And we get in the very beginning, like the fucking guys, the mechanic is like, hey man, this bucket of bolts, I can't believe you flew it over here. But we didn't find anything wrong with it. So what the fuck's up with you?
He came back dishonorable.
And he came, yeah. And
even fucking Quagmire has more honor than him. You ever see that clip of Family Guy? It was like, Quagmire, what are you doing? I don't know. It's like my Japanese brother.
When he goes in for the kamikaze effect. Yeah. But yeah, man, it that whole thing running from beginning to end is so well executed because it's a true thread. But that beginning part not only shows what we're dealing with this character and the weight of that, but we get a Godzilla scene in the beginning. It's not you're not waiting for 20 minutes. You're not waiting for a character to explain it finally. It's no, what the character situation is. You also get to see Godzilla battles and you see the effect immediately. You got all these dead people and the mechanic is dude, you could have fucking shot him or something. And yeah, he probably would have died. The pilot would have died, but that was your job in that moment. And in fact, he's able to pay it off in the end. And I love that. And I love, everything about the way that at the very end he's ready to sacrifice himself, but then because he was given that blessing of live from the mechanic, he's waiting for the mechanic to say it. And the mechanic's like, hey man, I gave you the parachute. Just pull it out. Live, man. Live. Don't fuck.
Yeah.
Because he would have done it if not for the pilot, the mechanic working with him in that moment and having to be able to have that moment with the mechanic. So everything from beginning to end with the main. All right,
so here's the kill yourself button. And here's the button not to kill yourself. Please press the don't kill yourself button, please.
I thought before that when he said the bomb prime thing, I thought that was the eject button. I thought he was hiding the fact that he built an escape thing from him at first. But then we learned in the flashback that he actually told him. I think that just makes it better in the end. Yeah. By the way, great child actor. Because I think she, right on cue, does the baby cry very fittingly. And also is adorable. And also is just, I think, great kid character that just isn't annoying.
When it just turns into a cartoon, it's this is the eject button and this is the self-destruct button. Do not press this button. Boop. And you press the self-destruct button and it's cartoony, he just the planet's
fuck. Well, yeah, no, but going back to what we were talking about before, the kid, I think they massively, they put her in when it's necessary, just to remind you of what's at stake here, the value of, for, not only, for a main character, the partnership that he's kind of, he's missing the value and the strength that he brings to it, especially when his friends, his comrades there are really trying to get him to fucking wake up here, hey man, I know you're in this struggle right here mentally, but here's a real situation right here in front of you, acknowledge it and work with these people, the girl that is not your daughter, that just be the person that you need to be in this moment. And I love every time that they come back to her, it's again, it just reminds you of that. It's not overcooked. They don't go back to, it's not there's so many Roland Emmerich disaster movies where they have this shitty family and they go back to the shitty family at the worst fucking time, and it's always about the fucking moody teenager or the kid, and it sucks. Here it's everything works.
Oh yeah. Also, what I like about the story is sometimes you expect the ending result is the main character, especially for a disaster like this shit. The main character is probably going to sacrifice himself. For with this one, they already seemingly killed off the wife. And it's that child is he's the only parent to that child.
Yes.
So it's alright, if
you don't feel good about the idea.
Yeah, if he's going to sacrifice himself, that's a lot at stake.
Yeah. It's a really tough thing because you can understand his mindset at that point, but you also, again, I love that duality, like you said, because it's like, oh fuck, now I don't feel good that he does it. Like, I understand why he feels that way, but I don't feel good about him leaving this person behind. As much money as he wants to give the neighbor, it's just not a good feeling.
Yeah, like, there's some movies where you can see it coming or you feel like it's going to happen. Like, I mean, spoiler alert for the creator, but, like, I felt it was coming for the creator.
Yeah. You know what I first thought when I saw that he was going to work with a plane, and like the idea was to fly a plane, and you kind of got the idea that he was going to sacrifice himself. I was like, wow, how much better was this than Star Wars with Finn when they shoved him just randomly into sacrificing himself? That was dog shit there, and here it is beautiful. Here it's like they make it literally a point from the beginning to the end for his character, like, purpose. You know,
I'm not gonna touch that. There's a whole fucking 10-hour tangent on what that Pacific movie does wrong.
Talking about vehicles that were not really unique, like in The Last Jedi. This movie,
generous, by the way.
This movie has like one of the coolest looking crafts ever, and I think it is a concept craft from one of the Japanese manufacturers of the time. And it's just like, here's a plane with a fucking prop in the rear. And it looks so cool. It's like, it's not a normal plane at all. It gives it a distinction. You're not just dealing with the same old planes. Here's a literal concept plane, and it looks so cool. I want a model of this too. Like, you know, it just brings even more pizzazz to a movie that has a lot of it to begin with. You know?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But yeah. I think it's really nice that, again, like, you know, you compare this to some American disaster movies, and it always goes out that someone has to sacrifice themselves, and that's for the greater good, and then the family's happy. But instead, we get a movie where not only does the family still come back together, but you feel like everything is so much better. Like, it really leaves you in an excellent way, because, you know, he now has that significant other that he can work with and help her. And obviously she'll be injured in the future, but it's one of those things where he can help her with that, and he wants to be there now.
I'm trying to think about throw disaster movies that came out this year. I mean,
not this year, but I'm saying, like, just the history of, like, shitty, like, because the guy that I think of all the time is Roland Emmerich. He's the fucking disaster king, and he'll just shove a family in there, and it just doesn't fit. The action sequences happen, and the family's usually in the middle of it. Here, again, when they have all of the people involved, it's like the significant other, Noriko. Again, she's on the train, and it gets picked up, and then, like, because Koichi is so caring, he gets down there and he tries to save. It's all critically important, and it doesn't feel like it's out of place. So this whole story, when you have the disaster, the family and the disaster, and the loss of the mom, and not mom but his mom, Noriko, it all like blends in so well, and it makes the pacing better, and everything's great here. You know.
Oh yeah.
So I know you felt like, I didn't know if you were trying to.
Oh no, I think I said what I need to say, but like,
shit.
I have my ending thoughts.
Oh.
Well, I'll wait to say it when we're ready to end it.
Wanted to talk about not again, but I think one of the things that a lot of movies this year and in past and just overall in these action movies they fail to do is they talk about a plan, they talk about a battle strategy, and usually it's a shit concept and it looks like shit, and it's just like, and you got just
boring exposition,
and it's boring exposition and it doesn't make sense. Here, not only do you already know the scientist, but it's like the setup for it. It's like, it feels like it's like Independence Day.
Yeah,
it's like, man, like
that's the vibes I was getting. Yeah,
it's like this is the final thing. It's now or never. We need all of you here, and you know, again, I love the actor who plays the scientist, Hidaki Yoshi. God damn it, what is it? Hidetaka Yoshioka, something like that. Like the guy that plays Kenji. It's like he's a scientist, but he plays like, when he's serious, and he plays that very well. Where it's like, when it's casual and it's time to be loose, he really fits that, like, and kind of go with the flow. But then when it's time to go, like when he knows what he's like planning and things like that and execution, it's serious, it's to the point, and he plays that, like, that, not mad scientist, but that scientist role very well.
I think what helps here is like, I mean, it's like even though it's like mythology, like I mean, I guess it helps that Godzilla's already established IP or brand.
Yeah.
Like even though it's mythological.
Yeah.
The science from this point in the movie still makes sense. Even for
Godzilla. It's crazy.
Especially with the gamma radiation. Like it's like the fact that it charges up. It still also makes sense for the science because it's just like it's not like a beam you can just have like anytime you want. It's like bleh, bleh, bleh. It's like you know like alright, so he's like charging up some kind of fucking like plasma mucus.
Super toxic
like
shit.
super toxic plasma mucus like and it's going up to his fucking spines and shit and that's how he does it.
Yeah.
Like the science for that, it makes sense so like when they're trying to explain it and it's like okay, you can believe it.
Yep, and also of course.
And like when it's like fucking these, you know, any kind of like these alien monster thrillers where the whole town's at stake. It's like you don't know what kind of sci-fi they added to these.
We made
monsters.
the science race, so now we can catch the science thing.
Yeah, but oh no, it's doing a science thing we haven't explained yet, and we're not gonna explain it.
No, but it's convenient.
Yes.
For the plot. Yeah, I love the fact that, and I don't know if this is in previous Godzilla movies. That weren't from the Warner Brothers Legendary set, but when the fish, like the idea that the misnomer, the catch is that dead fish start to come up out of the sea is a brilliant concept. It's a great idea. You know what I mean? It's
yes.
Like, oh shit, like that's a good catch because yeah, it's like this giant thing that's super filled with radiation. Yeah, that would instantly cause an ecological nightmare. So I love that every time that it appears or is in the area. All they have to do is look toward the sea. It's like, oh shit, got a bunch of dead fucking fish, guys. That's all you need to know.
Yeah, that's like one of the scariest parts right there.
Yeah, yeah. And there were moments where, again, like we talk about, like you said, not the most. Again, this is not like. Now, here's the thing. I think it's better than the Marvel CGI, even though it's $15 million. But like, it's not Avatar 2, right? But
yeah.
but there are battle sequences here that are amazing. Where you just have, for instance, like you have these World War II battleships that are just trying to combat. Like I think the first real combat sequence is you have the boat, you have all the main characters on the boat, and you have the larger vessel coming in, and Godzilla just comes up and just like they're trying to, and everyone on the ship is trying to attack it. They do a little bit of damage, but not enough damage, and it's, you know what I mean? Like it's such a cool sequence because
that's my favorite part in most thrillers. Going back to that fish scene, is like when the monster like leaves behind their evidence or their damage, and it's like, oh fuck, he was here.
Yep.
Or he's near.
Yeah, and that's why the beginning sequence is so good too, because it's just like not only do they say that it's like the village already knows about it, so like the villagers call it Godzilla or something, and they're like, okay, like whatever, but they're like completely freaked out by it, and we see that a bunch of people get fucking crushed, and some of them get their fucking top halves chopped off.
Our group calls it Bonnie the dinosaur, but the village
Bonnie the dinosaur.
But
it's Bonnie.
But most places, including the village, they call it Godzilla.
Godzilla. Yeah. It's so yeah. Again, like that whole sequence toward the end is like great because again, all these characters are given. They're given purpose, and again, even the fucking guy in the beginning, the engineer, that's like, "Hey man, clearly you left your post and killed and had all my guys killed because you didn't do it. You didn't do what you did." He is valuable to the main character in the end. All of it matters, and I think I just don't remember the music because I watched The Boy and the Heron yesterday, and that has a great score. I don't remember if this had a great score. I'm sure it does, but fuck, my brain doesn't remember.
I mean, it does. I mean, if you don't notice it, then they probably done their job right.
It didn't, yeah.
If it was bad, you probably noticed it.
Yeah, but I know that it's fucking. I know that
it's because it's like whatever score they have, it is fitting with the music, especially Godzilla's main theme.
Yeah,
like
I love that they kept bringing it back.
You know it when it comes up.
Dun dun dun. Yeah, man, it's
like oh shit.
Here it comes. Yep.
Shit, like when you see his last scene, think that shit's got real.
By the way, I don't know if the reference. I wonder if that reference to the guys on the rooftop is a reference to an older Godzilla movie, because it felt like they were like speaking in the way that older Godzilla.
Probably like
you know what I mean? Like how older Godzilla movies report Godzilla.
Dude,
like, you know what I mean?
We there's probably like a shit ton of references to older Godzilla.
There's
older Godzilla movies. It's just like we haven't seen it, so like I don't. It could be, but like like we don't know. Like maybe who knows? This whole movie is probably fucking unoriginal. But like we haven't seen it.
We haven't seen it, so it's revolutionary.
Yeah, so I don't know.
It's like Secret Life of
So,
Pets.
I mean, I can't really speak on that part if it's a reference or not.
Yeah. Just but overall, final thoughts, Mark. You had final thoughts. Go ahead and.
Oh yes, this movie is a fun time. Like now I have like higher standards for fucking legendary shit because this is like my first like non-legendary Godzilla movie I've seen. It makes me kind of want to see older ones, so they're probably not that good. I don't know, but like
I'm just curious now.
Yeah, I'm just curious now. But like, fuck that got. I mean, that Godzilla vs Kong movie. It's just like watching like fucking wrestling. That's what it's fun. It's just fun fan service. So if it's more of that, I'm fine. But like, I mean, if you're gonna have like some filler parts with Godzilla, I mean, kind of you want to take some cues from this one. Like this is a good time. So the only thing I want is like all I need for like a sequel or another Godzilla movie is I want just like a full ripoff of Jaws. I want like three bros isolated on the fucking island.
You can make it a prequel to this movie.
Yeah. And like I want just three dudes, just like make it a small cast, just isolated on the fucking island, and that lizard giant lizard just keeps fucking with them until they fucking kill it.
Oh my god.
That'd be awesome. Just like Jaws.
But they wouldn't kill it. Remember, that's always the thing. Godzilla never dies.
Yeah, that too. But like, I mean, I want Jaws, but Jaws is literally a giant kaiju.
It's like they referenced it a little here, but they didn't fit that. And I appreciate it. It's like here's a little bit of it.
This is almost.
We're not going to fully do it.
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
This is like almost Jaws.
So you brought it up. You brought up the next Godzilla Kong, and like here's the thing, right? Like it's kind of like all I could think of when I finished this movie, and I thought about Godzilla Kong 2 was like fuck. I feel like Mark does when you brought up Kraven coming up next year. Like I don't want to see Kraven in this light. It's like I don't want to see fucking chubby ass generic looking Godzilla in a I do. Look, here's the thing, like the fights are cool, but like the fucking human characters suck, especially the main teenager sucks dick. The action sequences are great, but everything around it is the CGI is worse. The action sequences are great, but like everything else around it's clearly going to be like lesser.
Well, I told you
this is the new standard. This is the new standard.
Well, I told you about it's even worse after playing because like. The Kraven movie's even worse after playing Spider-Man 2 for the PS5, because Kraven's the main villain in that one, and like, he's a good villain in that game.
Yeah. And
like now, you just want to see him get beat up because he's like fun. He's like fun to hate. That the character of Kraven in Spider-Man 2, he's fun to hate. He's a fun villain. So you just want to see him get like fucking fights Peter Parker and get beat up. And now you're telling me, hey, watch this movie. Where you have to root for Kraven. And it's like, why?
Villain. Just sympathetic villain, yeah.
I don't want this.
Yeah. Again, I just
I want to see him get beat up. That's all I want, man. Come on.
Yeah, so we'll see with that movie, but we'll obviously notably see what they do with Godzilla, with Warner Brothers, the company that I don't care about at all anymore. I lost all hope for that, but but we'll see what they do.
You had hope.
Back in the day, Cartoon Network era. But everything that they've done over the past, 48 months is just, drain material. Fuck. But no, overall, though, I think this is a fantastic...
I'm excited to know, Wiley versus Acme wasn't entirely tax written off, but they're still holding it hostage.
They're still holding it hostage, yeah, so it doesn't matter.
Just put in the fucking public domain, piece of shit.
Let me wrap up my thoughts on Godzilla.
No!
All right. I think
before the fucking computer crashes again.
I know. Yeah. So, all right. I think that this is an absolutely god tier movie. I wish I had seen this before we did our ranking. We'll probably do like we said. We'll do a sort of smaller sub episode where we actually bring up all right, here's 5 or 10 more movies that are in our top 10 that we just kind of overlooked or whatever. Because again, The Holdovers I didn't put in my top 10, even though that is a movie I definitely would have put in my top 10.
I already seen this movie by the time we were doing the top 10. Didn't you
put it in your top 10?
No. I was...
The fuck is wrong with you?
Huh?
The fuck is wrong with you?
There was movies I valued more than this, but still, this is
I think this is better than the Mario movie.
Huh?
Better than the Mario movie.
I appreciate the Mario movie for different reasons. My top 10 list is weird. I put Slam Dunk in my number 2 for specific reasons.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's movies I value for like specific reasons I value more than the other, but like they're not in terms of like recommendation. They're not better than in all of them. Like, like my number 2 is probably not better than most of the movies that are like in a lower list, but I like it on that level for a specific reason. So,
I feel you.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean,
that's the whole thing. The top 10 list is all personal.
Yeah. So like, I probably should have put in my honorable mentions, but like, I already had like enough movies I mentioned, and like fucking three album mentions. So it's like that. Also, we were just like kind of holding off thoughts on this. So
yeah. But yeah, overall, let me get to my actual points. I think this is a fantastic film. I think this is not just for Godzilla fans, this is like a great entryway into the idea because it introduces you to characters that you're going to end up caring about. It introduces you to Godzilla in a way that other movies kind of don't do as well of a job in execution. It's one of the better monster movies. It's one of the better just destruction movies. It has some great action sequences. It has great battle strategy. And there's a lot of movies this year that could have had all those that just failed to deliver. So what we have here is one of the better movies of 2023 with a foreign cast that absolutely brought it to the table. Everyone here is fantastic. Everything here is awesome. And I'll definitely be getting this on DVD whenever it comes out just to get more behind the scenes stuff. So I'm very curious whenever this comes out to learn more. And I'm very thankful that this got an American release. And I'm just very curious to see what happens next and how Godzilla vs. Kong is. Because it kind of looks like they're going to be too CGI heavy, but it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
This movie did come out this month.
This is just my new gold standard. That's all I'm saying.
This movie did come out in December.
This came out in November in Japan, but I think it got late November because it was already out during the Boy and the Heron. That's the thing. Boy and the Heron came out early December.
Well, I'm gonna say like I can easily say like the best movies like this later holiday season. Is this and Boy and the Heron easily? It's like
I'm gonna be honest,
the fucking Japanese movies are killing it.
Boy and the Heron is starting to sink for me because again I saw it twice, and both times because I thought the first time maybe after second viewing I would like it more. Rather briefly, just tech stuff. Rather briefly, it just like this once you see it a second, it's like it feels like the journey is just like the Snyder Cut. Or Justice League the original, where it's like there's so much missing here that clearly should have. It's like
I wasn't planning on watching it again, but I thought it would have like the opposite effect if you watch it again.
It's clearly it's got great sound. It has great music. It has some of the best animation and art direction you're ever going to see in 2023. But this is a film that clearly deserves to be 3 hours long, and it's 2 hours long. There's like so much cut out. There's so much shit that's missing. There's so much in terms of character development and where certain characters go and then they disappear and then they never show up till the end and then suddenly it doesn't matter. And it's like, what happened there? Like, and so...
What did you do?
Yeah. So, like that's... it's fallen a little bit. In fact, I think Elemental and even TMNT might be better than than Boy and the Heron, but they didn't come out in the fall. So, in terms of the better movie, obviously Godzilla is a much better rounded movie. But you can't go wrong with just watching the beauty of Miyazaki.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't so big on it. That's why I didn't even make any of my list. Yeah. But, it was like I enjoyed the animation, but it's like I'm gonna be honest, that's all I enjoyed from it. Yeah. Besides I enjoyed the animation and I love everything before you got into the other world.
Yeah.
I was digging everything before you got into the other one. When you got into the other one, it was like, okay, I'm just sort of trying to figure out things. Because when we were in that, this is the point of her conversation, but when we were in, we were in the, I just repeat my sentence, I cut this out. But, when we were in the normal world for the beginning of the movie,
yeah,
I was enjoying that.
Right.
And I was, probably because it was a world I understand, but, I like that part.
Yep. Again, this will just be to relate it back to Godzilla Minus One.